Joyous Rising. Good morning, family. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. It is Monday, February the 12th, 2024, and the time is 9:15 a.m. We did it! Didn't we predict that the Chiefs would win? Of course, we know the games are rigged. They always rig the games, entertainment, everything in their favor, but they must tell the story. Now they have to tell the truth. And the reason why the Chiefs won, as I predicted, is because the Chiefs have taken their land back. So we the people, and particularly the indigenous peoples in America and all across the land, now have their countries back and they have the republics restored. So here in America, we have our original government and the Constitution for the republic restored and a return to the gold standard. That's why there was some discussion about Taylor Swift singing in the Super Bowl halftime show, but they moved her out of the way, or ushered her on out the way, in order to allow for Usher, the singer, to sing at the Super Bowl. What the coded message behind Swift and Usher? That they were ushering us out of the old Swift financial system and ushering us in to go back in silver system. That's why you saw Usher come out with the Phoenix on his shirt with silver and white on, because the silver standard and the gold standard are back online. Now this is so exciting for us, especially if you've been following me for the last 8 years. You knew that we were prepared for the gold standard when I lived in Ghana, and I showed you all these Chinese and all the people from Lebanon were there mining the gold, and I kept saying something is happening. Then when President Donald Trump came, I said, look, the republic will be restored. We have a faction of the military that are actually benevolent, and they're tired of the deep state actors and the rogue people who took over our country, and they're working with indigenous chiefs, Indian chiefs behind the scenes, to take those bloodline families off of our land. Now we can see that victory is our story now. We've won. In last year's Super Bowl, the reason why the Chiefs won against the Eagles is because the elite, or the people that's running the show, desire for us to know that the eagle, which is the symbol for the Roman Empire, has lost. So the Roman Empire, the United States Incorporated, the group of bloodline families, they were all a part of one empire that controlled the world and completely enslaved the world. They had to lose the Super Bowl so that we, the people, could know that their time was up. They're over. They're bankrupt, kaput. And the lease that they had on this land is up. Just like the lease that they had in Africa and many different countries. It's over. It's not racist. It's just that their time is up. Now it's time for the Chiefs to stand up. Feathers up. All you tribes, that American tribe, Cherokee, Iroquois, Blackfoot, whatever you call yourself. And I know that the fake American government gave us a name, but you know who you are. It's time to stand in your power and your sovereignty. Not just the indigenous people on the land, but everybody. Because guess what? We're all one human family. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that the Chiefs had to win the Super Bowl. It's our time. The Chiefs and the indigenous people on the land now have their prosperity, their peace, and their sovereignty restored. So we must act like it. We must stand in our sovereignty, knowing that we have rule, reign, and control of our own lives. Not a government, not a bloodline family. Think about your own bloodline. What bloodline are you? Where do you come from? Now, for my copper-colored people, they told you were black, people that came from ships in Africa, and they enslaved you and made you become chattel property of some other entity. The story was told in reverse. You didn't come from Africa on slave ships. Most of you did not. No, they took a fraction of us from America and shipped us to Africa, and then brought us back here. We were erroneously classified as African American. But if you look it up, African American is actually a category and classification of meat, cattle, and some type of goods. It has nothing to do with you. You are the blood and sweat and tears of your ancestors. You are the bloodline of the Most High. You are the Hebrews that the Bible talked about, and the Egyptians. You are all those beautiful, melanated people that the scriptures were referring to. So, everybody else came from your womb. Everybody else, colored man, came from your loins. And this is something to celebrate. And now everybody must recognize that we are the true Americans. Look up the 1828 Webster's definition for American. It will say the copper-colored people found here by Christopher Columbus, but now applied to Europeans. Okay, because the group of bloodline families that usurped authority from us, oppressed us, stole our identity, lied to us about our history, told us we came from Africa on slave ships. They stole our artifacts and hid them into the Smithsonian Institute. And after they suppressed us and stole from us as much as they could, and put drugs in our communities and guns in our communities, and put wicked, sick, harmful messages in the music and the television and their programming, because the FBI had files on us that they studied our psychology and they learned what type of things to do to us, to suppress us, to kill us, to murder us. Not only through those agendas, but through abortion so that you can take your own child. How sick is that? And then when they got us to the point where we couldn't rise up and it got us so suppressed, then they went after our European brothers and sisters all across the planet, because their purpose and their intent was to enslave the whole planet. And they did it through divide and conquer schemes. And it had all the different so-called races and ethnicities fighting against each other, thinking one is better than the other. And the other one saying, I'm less than you, now I got to fight you. You know, it was horrible, but it's over. That's what they're trying to send, the sign they're trying to send you and me. The chiefs on the land have returned. We've been working behind the scenes to restore our republic. We've bankrupted the United States Incorporated. I have the bankruptcy papers on my YouTube channel and on my other channel. I can't remember the name right now. My Rumble channel. The Federal Reserve is now bankrupt and defunct and insolvent. I've shown you those papers. Corporations all across the nation and the world have filed bankruptcy. Banks are collapsing everywhere all across the world. On my podcast that I did on yesterday on the Sabbath, on the 11th, was it yesterday? No, it might have been, yeah, it was either the Sabbath on the 10th or Sunday the 11th. I think it was the 11th, the Super Bowl edition. I told you that their time is up, that the whole system is collapsing, that we've ushered out the SWIFT system and ushered into the gold-back system. So I just want to encourage you, family, that it's our time. It's our time. Be excited. Prepare. Get your families in order and your houses in order, and let everybody know that it's our time. And start stocking up on food if you can. Because so much is happening, and with all these corporations, the retail stores closing, you just might want to be prepared. And think about buying some land, and go ahead and buy land and start planting in your own food if you haven't. And if you don't have the means to plant your own food, then look at the people in your community. It doesn't matter what race, creed, religion, skin tone they have. Look at who's planting the food, because you may need to go to them so that you can survive. And think about what you can offer them in return, whether it's silver and gold in exchange, whether it's your services or a gift or a skill. So we need to be preparing right now, because we may have an emergency broadcast announcement, or we might not. Do you really need one to know what's going on? I've been telling you, and so have many of the other independent journalists. Our time has come for we the people. So this is exciting news. I'm very happy. I'm pleased with the outcome. I know the games are rigged. The 49ers are actually a much stronger team, much better team. But the whole thing was staged. I mean, even with the guy who was crying in the beginning because Reba McEntire's performance, her lackluster performance, singing the national anthem, moved him to tears. That was horrible. He even was squinting, like squishing some tears out. It was a horrible act. And then you had 3 people to have non-contact injuries. One guy hurt his Achilles heel. Another one looked like he pulled a hamstring, and another one had shoulder problems. No, they had to stage that in order to get certain people off the field, and in order to have some type of, big show for entertainment purposes. And because it was rigged. It was rigged. But the bottom line is the Chiefs on the land now have their land back. We, the people, the sovereign people, we are now in control. And the